So it is lunch on day 2 of the second test match, and India, after being bundled out for 396, well, I dare say are very much in danger of being baseballed based on what we're seeing so far. 5 overs, England already 32 for no loss. 6 overs, sorry. Streaky to start with, but after that, I think even India knew the pitch was offering nothing, which is why the last 2 overs were bowled by Kuldeep Yadav and R. Ashwin respectively. So spinners coming in early. Pacers got little to nothing, really precious little. And so far, really, I think England would be the happier of the two sides heading into what is expected to be the longest break of today.
That reminds me, because you were talking about baseball or not, I think we'll see how this particular session goes. But, state seems to be set for baseball. I think if England came here to play baseball, then they couldn't have asked for a better condition or a scenario to play. Whether that's successful or not, only time will tell. For all you know, in an effort to play baseball, they are 250 all out also, or they pile on the runs. But my mind takes me back to that recent Pakistan series where they got roads. This is not quite a road, but the best pitch that you can expect to get in India. Wasn't there one test match where they got 600 odd runs in 100 overs?
Yeah. 650 odd in the first day.
In the first day. So they actually batted in 100 overs, slightly more than a day.
101 overs, 657 for 70.
So slightly more than that. So it's about, they batted 100 overs, they went 6 and over and got about 650. I'm saying if the conditions are even close to that, may not be, even if it's close to that, it is just telling you what is the target that England can go for, because we have a precedent that has happened very shortly in not exactly the pitch that you see in Vizag, but the closest pitch to Pakistan that you will get in India. In that circumstance, they got 600 because a lot of people would still be talking that, listen, this test match, I mean, what does conventional logic tell you? That if you get 400 runs, which India have, 400 runs, 90% of the time, the result is either the team that's got 400 is winning it or you're drawing the game. After getting 400 in the first innings, you ain't losing. That's what conventional logic tells you, and that's what happens 90% of the time if you're playing a test match in India. Having said that, why I gave that example of 600 plus runs? Because of the way that England bat, because of the way that they have batted, that means that the third option of the opposition team, who's conceded about 400 runs in the first inning, winning, which is usually conventionally only 10%, may not be just 10%, it could be even more. Again, I still think that runs on board, India would be happy or not happy, I don't know, but 400 they've gotten, so they feel okay, we're not in a bad nervous situation. But dare I say that looking at the pitch, looking at the England batting lineup, considering that England batting lineup got 400 plus on a trickier surface in Hyderabad, that England batting lineup can get some runs.
I mean, we need not go back to Pakistan. I mean, just look at the last test. Convention dictates that you shouldn't ideally lose from a 190 run lead. England made 436, that too in the third innings by the way, and set India a target of 230, on which India fell short by 28 runs. Here, if you look at what has happened, okay, the wicket, as we are seeing at this point in time, 9 out of your 11 batters did not have skill or any kind of demon from the wicket to get them out. They threw their wickets. Jaiswal barring, let us leave Jaiswal because he had done his work. He wanted for
but you can still use his example to illustrate your point, in which he also did not get out to some amazing bowling. He got out to a shot he played. Though many would argue, and because when I was just listening to the Jaiswal dismissal, people said that, should have carried on, shouldn't have gotten out. I agree, wasn't the right shot. But do you think, or at least I felt, that shot was prompted by the fact that Jimmy Anderson wasn't allowing you to score runs?
Yes.
That Jimmy Anderson was choking you so much. So it's not so much that he's getting to score runs freely and he yet goes on and plays that shot and gets out, for which you can criticize him. But because of the way Jimmy Anderson was today, choking everyone, not allowing you to get runs, here's a man who's batting on 200, wants to score run and wants to be saying that, listen, I'm comfortable. But Jimmy Anderson not allowing him, so he had to go outside his natural instincts and then trying to be adventurous to get that run. So I'll still give full credit to Jimmy Anderson for that wicket. That is completely Jimmy Anderson's wicket and not so much Yashasvi Jaiswal gifting it to him. Yeah.
Gifting it. So the tail enders, if you look at it, Bashir, the way how he dismissed Mukesh Kumar, that ball kept low, isn't it? Bumrah, again a typical, he prodded forward, hard hands got the edge, okay. So that dependent, you can argue 50-50. Shubman Gill's dismissal also, in that channel, uncertainty, he poked at it with hard hands.
Why I don't give that ball that much credit, because whilst it was good line, length, everything, he didn't need to go at it with hard hands. That was his undoing. It didn't swing. There was no late seam. There was nothing. It was a straight ball, as straight balls can be, and he just prodded at it.
You know what's the difference maker here? In this pitch, when nothing is off the wicket, choke the flow fronts. Look at Jimmy Anderson today delivered a masterclass.
In fact, I will say that both of Jimmy's wickets came from choking runs and actually setting up the batters. Jaiswal, he tied up with swing. Gill, he did the opposite. He was not getting swing, but he was consistently probing on the stumps. After a point, Gill said, no, I have to defend my stumps. So when he started doing that, he started bowling it outside the channel. So he was again going with hard hands, and I remember there were two tricky boundaries that Gill got where it flew off the edge and missed the slips. And I kept thinking, I'm like, at this point, this man's a walking wicket, because sure, two streaky boundaries, but one of those balls is going to have your name on it. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
So, because see, on this flat wicket, let us not hide the Indian batters' mishandling of the situation. I mean, let's be honest, when we did the innings break, most of our family members were saying 100 to 150 runs short.
That's the assessment, by the way.
And take out Jaiswal's 209, the rest of your batters hit 187.
In good batting conditions, I may add. It wasn't like a minefield.
Where you're not getting that much of swing, you're not getting that much of spin, day one, which is why I think you have cause to worry.
No, and I think the choking of runs is a technique that would have worked and actually did work in the case of Jaiswal, and it would have worked more in Indian batters' situation. I don't think that would work in the English batters' condition, because that is the brand of cricket they have been playing for a while now. India switched to this since the last game and this game, so India was a little tentative about this approach, as we saw even Rohit Sharma was in double minds.
But did India switch to any, the way India batted in this test match, have they changed their approach? I mean,
no, this is exactly the same approach.
They haven't changed their approach, but this hasn't been, this is not the kind of brand they have been used to playing in India for a while.
When?
Yeah. Since the time you were not getting these sort of wickets.
But still they used to play like that. I agree that they are not used to getting flat tracks, which I know. But even when they were not getting flat track, I guess this is about the kind of cricket that you were playing, where certain guys scoring at 50 strike rate, certain 60, certain 70, that was still the norm, right? So they have not gone and played baseball. They have not gone and played, 1970s test match cricket also. In both cases, they have not. I think pretty much played the kind of cricket that they have been playing so far, which is why I'm saying on a pitch like this, I would have wanted them to change their approach. So they've played exactly the cricket that you get on trickier conditions that you have got so far. Like for example in Hyderabad, not an easy pitch to bat on as compared to this. There also India played this similar way. I'm saying, shouldn't your approach have changed slightly, considering this was a much flatter pitch?
I think that was the approach, that was the mindset, and
did that happen?
No, that did not happen. That wasn't that wasn't the thing that they were able to execute. And I also think that 400 psychologically would have given that little edge to the Indian side. Now already they are just 360 odd runs behind you, and we are just one session into the day. No big deal if they just get very close to the trail and they're at the loss of 6 wickets also, and they come out to bat tomorrow also. So
350 runs they'll get in 2 sessions.
No, I'm saying they trail by a few runs. 300, yeah, 300.
150, 150 sessions.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked by the way they are playing.
Actually, I wouldn't be either.
150, 152 session is not outrageously.
Yeah.
No, not given the batting lineup they have, and more importantly, the kind of conditions you have. They're nothing burger conditions.
The way they have played in these 6 overs, I think that also shows a lot about how they are, or maybe even I think at this point, playing these 6 overs, they came a little more ultra aggressive. I don't think that they are going to carry forward this same momentum going ahead, because here they knew that if they come out only a few overs to play, they can put that pressure on the Indian bowlers as soon as they come. But I think Kuldeep Yadav would be a very big key in this. Only I think Kuldeep would be the man who can get India back in this test match, because at the toss I think India was just 55-45 in favor of India. Suddenly now things I think have reversed because India have lost all the advantage that they gained at the toss.
I just want to know one thing, that England will be feeling the pressure. I still feel that this is, as we've discussed, this is perfect situation for baseball. They should get a lot of runs as they've gotten, versus Pakistan on flatter condition. All of that is great. The one thing will play heavily on England's mind, though this England team is showing that it's not thinking too much about where they are or what situation. That's what baseball is. So let's see. They've shown that they don't. But I'm saying, whatever said and done, somewhere back of the mind, that you'll be batting last. So that's also another thing. And no matter how good the pitch may be now to get runs on, we know that it's not going to be the same post day 3. And in all likelihood, with the amount of runs that India has got, whether India wins, loses, draws, whatever, that this is a game going well into day 3 or day 4 or even day 5. It seems like that. If that is the case and England are going to be chasing, then it's not just that 400 you're looking at. You're effectively looking at a 500, 600 or maybe a 100, 110, 120 runs. So in excess of 500, which no matter how good a team you are, which no matter how positive you are, which no matter, whatever Bosbal dictates or tells you, it's still that pressure. You're still 32 right now. Yeah. It's a big mountain still to climb in that sense.
But looking at the way, see, firstly for the Indian card, okay, if you are a school teacher, you would give all the remaining 10 batters fail. No one even crossed 35. That's one of the comments which our family members
33 is passing.
No, now it's 35.
No, it's 33.
No, 33 is right.
Yeah.
But then only one batter crossed 34 then, Shubman Gill.
That's it. Only one. Jaiswal then is your Einstein level genius in this team then. That speaks volumes about the fact that a 6-year-old is wanting to get a 6 test match.
Okay,
I
was wondering.
Sorry. A 6 test match old is playing modern test match cricket the way it should be. Like what England are, they are ahead of the curve slightly in that. New Zealand also do it, Australia also do it sometimes.
They have batters who can play aggressively and only play that way. And Jaiswal thankfully stuck to that side of his game. Same cannot be said though about the other batters.
The other batters, look at it. 34, 73, okay, Shubman's 73 is an aberration in that sense. 45, 44, 52, Srikhar Bharat 73, but look at the way of his dismissal. 54, 19, 66. You did not set the initiative on the best batting conditions that you had. Period. 3.5. Average run rate of 3.5.
Also, just to, stress on the fact, again, I repeat, when you say that initiative or whatever, I agree that test match cricket strike rate is of no consequence. So it does not matter. At the end of the day, runs matter. Completely agree. That's how it should be played. But what we're just trying to illustrate is making use of the conditions. So, on a given day, that 112 odd overs is what you're going to be batting. 112 all over if you went with on this flat track, which is possible to play at 5 and over. It's possible to play 5 and over on this track. You're sitting on 500 plus runs.
Correct.
Because even if you're 4.5 would have taken you to close to 500 runs. 4.5, which I think is a decent way that you could have executed on this pitch. I'm not saying every pitch you got to bat like that. Maybe you'll encounter a pitch in Centurion where it's moving around and you really need to bide your time and just shoulder arms and let it go. That's fine. That pitch may be the ideal place, or the approach could have been 3 and over. Possible. But here, 4.5 wasn't asking for too much. That would have allowed you to put pressure on the fielding side. That would have allowed you also to get the scoreboard ticking. Would have allowed you, if you played, 1 day and a session, to have allowed you to have reached 500. From where, imagine now England batting last, we just said that if they're looking at a 500 now, that target moves to 600, 650, which then again, takes you closer to that stage where either you're winning or it's a draw.
Because why I would like to see what has happened in modern day test cricket. The quicker you play, your chances of a result increase manifold.
Correct.
In traditional cricket, if England had played, say, in the 2000s in Pakistan, they would have made 657 in 2 days. 2.5 days. And then hoped, okay, toil. But this England team, They only got to a 3-0 whitewash because they set the initiative. 600 on day one was I'm batting you out of the game and at quick time. So it is up to the opponent now to create something out of the ordinary for you. 4.5, even if on the sea, they have started 5, they'll come down to 3.9 or 4. There'll be some guys who will push the run rate up, and by 100 overs, suppose they have gotten over 400, supposing, it will still be day 3, one session or maybe 1.5 sessions. You still have 2.5 days to post a result. That's what quick scoring and an aggressive run rate at this point with better strike rates helps. Why was India dominating in the 2000s? Because a certain Virender Sehwag would dominate the attack. He would already score 100 or 120, and by the time the opponents were deflated.
I mean, I still just want to take a few comments quickly, Shivam. So you got Manchester Rising from the US says 100 runs short. He feels. He's saying play 2 pacers was a mistake too. We'll wait for that. I think I'd want to jump the gun about what they've done, but let's just wait on that. Sharan Venukota says, Mukesh Kumar, what kind of a selection is that? Your best bet was Washington Sundar. Mukesh against top teams on Indian surfaces is useless. Weakest team management and poor planning. Sharan, just to let you know, I think why they've gone with Mukesh, and we discussed that, possibly because you knew that this wasn't a very high spin friendly track to have gone with 4 spinners. Possibly that's one reason. So you wanted to go with another pacer that left you with either Siraj or Mukesh. Maybe they went with Mukesh, considering the fact that he has been playing on these flatter surface in domestic cricket for a long time and may have the arsenal then to get batters out. I also still feel that it's just a session, so let's give him some time. But I will agree on the fact, and maybe then everyone can chip in on that. I agree that while we are saying that India is a 100-run shot, and I think all of us agree, while we are also saying that stage is set for England to play baseball, they will play aggressively, good chance they go past India and put pressure, which they'll have to anyway go past India. Remember, they're batting last. All of that is taken into account. But against the run of play, against how the pitch is looking, against how we know England can bat, all of those factors we're taking, against the run of play, I think you still have about 2 to 3 bowlers that even on a flat track, with their experience, guile and what they bring to the table, can still turn it around for India. So imagine, a Jasprit Bumrah has an outstanding spell, which we know he can. Yeah. No matter the surface, he comes in with a Jasprit Bumrah masterclass, picks up 3-4 wickets, you're in this game, with the rest of the bowlers chipping in. If it's not Jasprit Bumrah, just as you look at batting, if it's not Rohit that doesn't get runs, Virat will. If it's not Virat, KL will. You look at your batting order like that. I'm looking at the bowling order. That, okay, if it's not Jasprit Bumrah, which he's very capable of, then you even have someone like an Ashwin who's pretty experienced to understand how to bowl in certain situations. He can come up with different plans for different batters. He could be that X factor that could still put England under pressure in flat. There's a third option you can go to. He's only played 9 test matches, I agree. Yet you know that he's sometimes very tough for batters to read. England and England's baseball has struggled against wrist spinners. He's a wrist spinner. They've not seen much of him. Who knows? It's a Kuldeep Yadav like test match. So it has to be an out of the ordinary performance from either a Bumrah or a Ashwin or a Kuldeep or all of them combined for India still to win this test match. So it's by no means you're very far behind. You are behind, I still feel, but marginally. You need to have one of these bowlers come in and have an outstanding performance for India to do well.
And I also feel that as soon as the English side gets about 150, 130, 150 kind of a score more from here, then I think automatically the pressure more would be on India, because suddenly then you would be a little confused between an attacking field or a defensive field. And England are a really smart side. As soon as the Rohit Sharma would go to a defensive field, they will automatically change their gear and they would start taking those singles and still score at 4.5. So I think that is somewhere, again, I was during the mid innings also, there was a question also about a test. It's going to be a really big test for Rohit Sharma's captaincy, and I totally believe that it's going to be a really important test match in terms of his captaincy. It's going to be interesting how he actually approaches this from here.
So that's what Sharath Reddy from the US is pointing out, because of the general consensus coming out of our discussion. He says England's a good team, all right, but we're overhyping them. 3 good performances in last test, expect a collapse. I don't see this batting lineup getting over us. It is spinning. It is spinning for sure. No denying that. But is it spinning viciously? Not quite. No. And if England can't play regular spin, then they don't deserve to win the test match anyway. Completely agree. But for India to do that well, as I said, some of the bowlers have to step in. But I don't know. Are we overhyping England?
No, I don't think you are. I think you're giving them the respect they deserve. Because again, on trickier conditions in Hyderabad, they outdid you. Granted, that was down to one special innings, but then India getting to nearly 400 here was also down to one special innings. The rest of your batters batted like lottery winners. So I think this is going to be that kind of a test series where again the quality of both teams, and there is quality there on both sides, are going to ensure that there's going to be an even keel contest, and you're going to need those 1 or 2 special performers. Now, are those special performers for England going to be the openers? I doubt. But what they do tend to do really well is lay the foundation. Then it gives the middle order, which is England's biggest strength. You've got Pope, you've got Root, you've got Stokes, you've got Foakes. And Foakes, by the way, is that one player I dread. Why? Not a conventional baseball player, but in the baseball era, he's been involved in 6 partnerships which have gone for 100 runs for the 5th wicket. Every single time he's been involved in one of them, they've gone on to win a test match. And he doesn't do anything major. He's a very gritty player. But that kind of a gritty player is what will frustrate you, especially when you have someone else then doing it. So I don't think you're overhyping them. That being said, I do have faith that India's bowlers could, if the rhythm gets their way, deny them from doing that. You do have the bowling.
Baseball does leave a slight option of a cluster collapse also. It can happen. But again, see, Hyderabad, you saw 2 otherworldly performances that helped them win. You saw Ollie Pope, everybody is now hailing it as one of the best knocks ever played by an overseas player. And you had Tom Hartley stepping up and taking 7 wickets. That was an otherworldly performance. Are we going to see an otherworldly performance? Hopefully, I would say Jaiswal's knock is a sign of a thing that, okay, it may not be difficult. It may not be easy carrying on. It may not be easy. So, only time will tell at this point. Maybe by the end of day 2, that is England's baseball approach going to lead them to a cluster collapse, or are they going to be close enough for them to take a big lead heading into day 3?
And I also feel that it's not just the baseball batting that actually we should be, the Indian side should be scared of, because last time we should not forget they got out for just 240 odd runs in the first inning, then they still managed to go on and win that test. So I think we talk about the fact that the batting is the thing that everyone needs to be scared of, but I think the whole approach as they approach the test match, what their thought process is, I think it's a whole thing that
it's a package.
And tactically, that's where Ben Stokes is, I think, ahead of Rohit Sharma as a captain. He's very, very proactive. In Test cricket, you will constantly see him changing things around this, that, and he doesn't even, his own field positions change. Many a time I remember whenever they're asking for a review, he's having to run in from the deep, because he knows I'm positioning myself here, I'm keeping my best catchers nearby, fields consistently in out, always attacking. I mean, you had a leg slip to Rohit Sharma, and he fell off that, only straddling one down. And at that point, I'm thinking, why would you have a leg slip there this early, knowing a Rohit most likely is going to be going aerial? Trapped him with that. So tactically, he's right. Tactics also is what constitutes baseball. It's not just aggressive batting. And the tactical battle is where I find Stokes tends to more often than not win out. Now, whether or not this continues, and you're talking about exceptional bowling, I was very impressed by Shoaib Bashir.
Yeah,
he offered a lot of control for someone,
disciplined.
For someone who's what, 20 years old?
Yeah.
20 years old, playing his first test match and only his 7th first class match, if I'm not mistaken. Christ alive, the kind of control he had. And again, if you watch his action, it's a little comical because he tends to run up like that. He's a gangly character, very, very thin. But the control he gets is very, very, very good. And in fact, later on, he was getting some of them to turn nicely as well. So, India do tend to struggle against new spinners, and you've got Hartley who's 1 test old and Shoaib Bashir who's 0 test old. So there is,
And Shoaib Bashir, I think, also uses the popping crease really nicely to lefties. I noticed is that he was coming really from the wider of the crease. He was getting it with the angle and dipping inside and then going away from the left-hander also. So I think he's a really good thinking, smart bowler.
You know how India can be ahead of the game if Rohit Sharma does not make the mistake of what he did in Hyderabad. The field setting, if England are attacking, he will say, okay, let's have a defensive field. And that's the thing.
But that's a tricky position to be in. What do you do?
Because see,
You haven't got 600 on the board.
I can understand if they unfurl the reverse paddle, reverse sweep and all that, then yes, it's extremely difficult. But somewhere down the line, attack, one wicket is coming then. Sure, they may not have a big lead of 50-60, they may get a lead of maybe 1 run. But still, you are going with the confidence, okay, I am continuing to attack. If it was in Australia in this case, I mean, what happened at Lords? When they realized, oh, we may be losing the test match, they decided to spread the field. Like that, you have to set the directive.
Yeah, in fact, I remember that was Cummins' last resort,
Yeah.
not his first resort. And he was only doing it because he knew Stokes was batting with the tail, and Stokes is not going to take singles.
Yeah.
So he's tempting him. Try hitting the 6. Try clearing every fielder who's out at the infield. So that was also tactical, and by the way, that was a forced tactic.
Yeah.
No way he was going that way if Stokes wasn't going all guns blazing. Here, I think a little early they tended to go back in Hyderabad. Little early.
Yep, that's the thing.
Okay, a few more comments. Daniel M from Australia says England is actually a good team. This is contrary to the earlier comment. He's saying England is actually a good team. They're low on the points table because they've lost many points in Ashes. Australia overrated Ashes. I did not take that. Australia
in overrates. He's not saying overrated.
Acha.
They lost. Actually, they lost a lot of points.
They're last on that.
Second last.
No,
They lost 10
points. Australia also lost points, but still top.
And you know which was the irony? They lost the most points in the rain-impacted test match. Manchester. Australia lost 9 points in Manchester.
Oh, good.
Okay, Rahul Bhide is saying 396 total by India. Just remove the 209 by Yashasvi Jaiswal, which brings it to 187. Remove one no ball run, which brings it to 186 runs only. Worst play by India. We've discussed that. Not everyone else stepped up.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not even expecting anyone to go and score another big 100, but get a good 60, 70. You're getting even there. You get 2 batters who've got a good 60, 70, and you're at 450, which again then really puts you in the driver's seat. 396, I think this England side are saying, you know what, we still got a chance.
Now only 364 are left.
You see, there is a conflicting thing of opinions, right, between Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma after Hyderabad. Rohit Sharma had stated, oh, we don't play for milestones and all that. I mean, that was the comment which dominated the discourse, isn't it?
You know why that is happening.
I know. But Dravid stated we didn't have anybody scoring the big hundreds.
No, I think what he actually meant was that nobody converted their start into a big score. By 100, I think that is what he meant.
But here you needed a 60, 70.
No, but his point I did not understand. He
point.
said they were 70, 80 runs short in the first inning. You
were
got
not.
on a tricky pitch, 436.
Yeah, 190 run lead.
So, aise to you're short every time.
Yeah.
On this pitch, if you're saying first inning you're short, I can understand. This is a pitch where you need to get 500. That was a pitch where I think you got more than what was needed. 436 on that pitch, 190 run lead. Aise to then every time you lose, you should no. We got 450 in Centurion. You're batting.
You need to get 500.
320 in the first inning. It's not easy. 320, and you lose. No. We should have got 400 plus. You got 400 plus. No. We should have
450.
There is no end. There is no end. You look at the condition and then assess. I think in Hyderabad on that condition, first inning score 436 couldn't have asked for anything more.
Exactly.
190 run lead showed you how tough it was. 190 run lead. Your mistake was you allowed an Ollie Pope to get to 196 in the second inning and not being able to chase down 230 or whatever you achieved. Those are the areas where you lost. Not that we fell 70 runs, 80 runs short in the first.
That was even more criminal, not able to chase 230. With the approach that you're supposed to be having, you choked.
You lost that approach and you lost the match. Simple as.
You choked under pressure. Shubham Garg is saying, what confidence our batters are giving that they will score runs in third innings? Especially when Gill, Iyer, Bharat are under pressure. Matches lost.
I disagree with matches lost, but I do take his overall point that, in the third innings, and especially if you go by the pitch report which says top layer, black soil, thereafter only red soil. If the red soil comes into play come day 3 and England are, and again, this is why I'm saying this, I don't really think England even need a lead to stay in this match. I think even if you are trailing by 30-40 runs and the pitch starts turning, India will go into a shell. That's my worry. That's my worry.
But then England will also have to chase. Add to that 30-40 runs.
Add to the 30-40 runs.
So if India at least get to about 160, 170 in torrid conditions, England will chase 200 plus.
Then that will be next level.
That'll be
That is, for that you have to get rid of the English side for about 350.
That's what.
My strategy, what I feel what England will do is bat once, bat big.
Yeah.
That has to
They
be the
are
strategy.
not going to leave anything to chance, because if India get a toehold, if they get back in Vizag, then the remainder of the 3 matches will be a long tour for them.
Because no, it won't be that long, because then they'll serve up Gaddas. So
Still, but you've lost an initiative, and England will want a 150 run lead.
100, I would say even take 70, 80 runs as a lead, because again, you're playing for the pitch to deteriorate, and it is turning. It's just slow turn, and it's at least even bounce. There haven't been that many wickets. I think Shreyas Iyer was the only one where it really stayed so low that.
And there was a ball again in the first session today. That stay low.
It
Yeah,
stayed
but
low.
not much.
But otherwise, it's pretty even, the
But
pitch.
remember, black soil deterioration takes far more time. Because it's slow turn.
We don't know what cake they have
Alchemy.
baked.
Yeah. I mean,
What is the Betty Crocker?
Ashwin had given his input right on his YouTube channel about the black soil, this thing, why they were caught out by the tactics, moisture.
While the
content.
test match is on.
No, he does it in the
I'm thinking.
When he did that
Maybe
World
he's
Cup
like,
final,
the first day's play is over.
Chalo, let's go live.
I think that's a blanket ban. I think he can't do it.
But I think for India, something that could also work is that I think Rohit Sharma could just slow the game down a bit. That could be really interesting, because then suddenly the England batters, then it would come down to a game of patience, because at the end of the day it is test cricket. They could just pack one side, continue bowling there, and just see what happens.
The 8-1 field setting.
Yeah, not 8-1, 7-2 is
Which
also
was what
fine.
Dhoni did against Australia. 2008.
8-1 would be a little too much now at this point.
Okay, Manchester Rising says India 11 has to play match of their life to beat England. No, it's not quite reached that stage.
Yeah.
They have
Not
to play
yet.
well. Huh?
Yeah.
Match of the life though will be if England get to 600. From there, then yes.
But
Match
by
of
the way,
life.
this England team so far, and I know it's early indications, and I could very well be proven horrendously wrong, but they've been very careful who they've targeted. If you look at the 32 runs that came, 22 came of Mukesh Kumar, who was bowling utterly horrendously. So they targeted him, and I think the other bowler who they're going to really look to take to, Akshar Patel. I don't think he has the bowling to kind of get him the number of wickets he does on this sort of conditions. He's more of a rank turner bowler. He's very successful over there. I think they'll target him here, and that's my worry.
See, your bowler on this wicket,
Kuldeep.
your X factor is Kuldeep. They will
Well,
have.
you didn't go
Yeah.
Tata. Here he's not.
No,
On
he
the
was
eye.
blaming Yashasvi for Tata's wicket upstairs.
Oh.
Yeah, he was.
No, because what happened was Ashwin, I mean, tongue in cheek again, okay? Ashwin
Yeah.
was in the zone, okay?
What
He was playing, batting very well.
Ashwin, but there was a 5-minute break because I think Jaiswal was having treatment on his arm. And that resulted in a concentration.
Oh,
Tough.
poor Yashashvi, you're blaming what you are double under for getting your favorite Ashwin out.
Again, tongue in cheek, please.
But I think that Kuldeep would be the key.
Ashwin,
I think
by the
he
way-
would have one of the best test matches he has played.
Underestimating a Bumrah and Ashwin.
No, I'm not.
That experience, come on. Come
No,
on.
Also, Ashwin is going to be very fired up because since yesterday's stumps, he's been very peeved about something. Even today, he was having it on with James Anderson.
Last evening
Yeah,
when the
yeah,
day's players over,
Yeah.
he was speaking to the umpire constantly.
Yeah, and today he was
not
having it
able
with
to-
James Anderson. And Anderson was also like, what is the matter, mate? I'm saying,
not
okay, look at this, the two
able to make videos at
grandpas
this
having a
point,
fight.
no.
No. Anderson, by the way, one word on Anderson. Outstanding bowling
brilliant.
masterclass.
Phenomenal.
Brilliant.
And that, I think, this session showed you that an out-and-out swing seam bowler, for whom these are graveyard-like conditions, can still bring out this sort of performance. I think this session is a perfect example to let you know why he's a legend.
Yeah, and why
Perfect.
experience can't be replaced with anything.
And why India should be thankful he didn't play the first test, because then he'd probably been wrapped up in 3.5 days.
Yeah. Yes.
England is still with Anderson. Why India is not with Bhubaneswar?
Because he made himself unavailable for
There's
test
a big
cricket.
difference.
Yeah.
In the middle he was, and he's also seen a lot of dip in form. Bhubaneswar Kumar.
And he also stopped, I think he made himself unavailable for tests
Initially.
after
No,
a
but
point.
I think he swings the ball the way.
Of course he does.
He
So did
still
Praveen
does.
Kumar. But there
That
was a
doesn't
time
make him a
that he-
James Anderson.
Exactly.
Praveen, unfortunately, injuries are the
Mukesh also swings the ball, is what we have. But we
doesn't.
have to see now.
I haven't seen anything so far.
He's still performing in those.
I know.
And I think he started playing domestic red
Yeah, he
ball.
took 8
after a
wickets
while.
in
Maybe
the
they
first
can
game.
look at him later, but right now we are in a situation where you're thinking of playing only one fast bowler. Everyone's screaming why you played even Mukesh. They don't want to play. One Jasprit Bumrah will play. Your other best bowler is injured. He'll come back, na?
But I think
Sitting in Amroha, na? So he'll come back.
Shami.
and he's not. I think even Bhuvneshwar Kumar doesn't fit into the thought process of this team management
No.
because that isn't the style of bowling that he's more of the MS Dhoni school of thought.
Yeah. I mean, you could, but I don't think you're going back because even someone like Umesh Yadav is doing very well domestically.
Yeah.
And he was playing till recently. Where do you bring them in?
I mean, Umesh was
Still-
playing test
still-
matches till last year. He was playing
Ishant is
BGT.
also playing
No,
domestic
please.
cricket. No, I'm just saying he's playing. That way, though, you can.
He
look at-
wasn't playing the last two. He's come
But
back
I
to this
think
game.
they're looking forward, just as in batting you've gone with the Cheteshwar, you've left a Cheteshwar and a Rahane. Even bowling you've gone with a Mukesh, and I think you go further
If he
ahead.
has a very good 2025 IPL, Bhuvneshwar then make it to the test team. If they make the WT.
Ishant Sharma is, I think, going for some vacation or something.
Okay, that is a complete different thing. We have to take a few more comments. Advait is saying no need to be scared of England. You guys are overthinking this. India's spinners are much more dangerous than England, so don't judge the pitch with only one set of spinners bowling. Absolutely right. I just go with the old convention of not judging the pitch unless both teams have batted. I completely agree with it. We mentioned this here. For all you know, all this, if Indian bowlers, and I named at least 3 who are capable of doing that. Even if one comes to the party, it's enough for England to be dismissed well below India's total. But if all 3 come into party, then so great. Of course, it can happen. No denying. Anshu Mitra is saying, I think Sports Day are rotating among their 5 batters in Siddharth, Nikhil, Harshit, Shane and Shashwat. That only 4 out of 5 will come and one has to sit out to manage the workload. Of course.
Spot on.
How will do you guys, wherever you do, work 7 days a week?
It never happens. We need our workloads managed too.
But good. Point, yes. Yeah, absolutely right. Tripti Dibri is saying 401 all out. It's an early prediction. Piyush Nandre has gone with 145 for 1 till T. So we're already getting a few predictions. Naman Kantpal wants to know why nobody apart from Bumrah or Shami bowls top of off stump length. Either it's too full or too short and trying to swing in the air. Like really, why? Who will replace Umesh in reverse swing in India? I mean, Bumrah does reverse swing very well. We'll have to wait and watch whether Mukesh can do it. We believe he can. He's done it in domestic cricket. He has to reach that stage of the match for him to do it. But top of stump, if it was so easy, everyone would do it. It's taken years of tapasya for Jimmy Anderson to be there or Glenn McGrath to do it.
And Anderson in the 6th tour of India. Let us be very honest about that. Ever since 2006, he's been coming to India.
It's like he's put a coin there and he's bowling there continuously, ball after ball after ball.
Yeah.
So accurate.
So we've had comments with their predictions. So if you guys would want to, meanwhile I'll take one more comment. Deepak Yadav, same England struggled to score 200 versus Afghanistan spinners in Delhi. Where is the home advantage? We serve flattest track. Kuldeep is a better spinner. Deepak, that is a point that we said, by the way, not in hindsight. A day before this match started,
In foresight.
when we got to know what the pitch is going to be like, I think all of us were unanimous in our opinion that this is not the correct way to go. One loss, that to a very close loss, 20-odd run loss, has spooked you so much that you've completely veered away from your plan of turning or giving rank turners. You should have stuck to it, but you did. You've changed it. You've kind of played it into England's hand, what they would have wanted. It's much like the spinner, right? You're feeling a bit nervous of the spinner, but you attack him, hit him for a 4 and a 6, and he then suddenly changes his line. He plays into your hands, and then you start attacking, right? That's exactly what they've done. But we'll see. I mean, that's also early days. This is a discussion that I think for the next 3 days we are anyway going to have. So we'll get to that. Yeah, predictions, guys.
130 for 1.
I'd say that'd be about 150 for 2.
I think 160, 170 for 2.
I'm going. I'm also going around 150. 150 for
3.
No. Yeah. 153. 153 for 2.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Bumrah starting off and
Akash Bardwaj's gone 180 for 2. Prakash Jha 125 for 5. Deepak Yadav 160 for no loss. Meet Sony 122 for 3. Interesting. Akhil has made a larger prediction that England will get the lead today itself. That
Okay.
seems tough. That seems very tough.
They need to go.
Shashwat has gone. They'll go 300 plus at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But to go
Close
take lead-
300, around 3.
Yeah, that's what. Tipti Dimri 175 for 3. Varun Parvatanayani 145 for 3.
Yes.
Okay, Naman Kanpal 185 for 3. All interesting predictions. Thank you guys. Can't take all. It's already started, so all eyes on that. We'll see you tea time. Take care. Bye bye.
Nandri.